When I say our bathroom or our house, etc., my husband always has to point out that it's his house, etc. The author of the post is listed in the description. He'll stop me and say, "My house." And when I get upset, he goes, "It's my house, but since I'm yours, you get to live in it." Or something similar. It makes me feel so shitty when he does that. He sorta does it jokingly, but it happens without fail almost every time. And I've tried to tell him it's hurtful, and he just laughs and says he's kidding. For context, he bought a house last year right before we got married. I was part of the entire process since we already lived together, but he put his savings into the down payment, and it was his name on everything for obvious reasons. I had recently spent the last of my savings to pay off student loans and was only doing freelance remote work, so I wasn't really bringing in much money and was trying to focus on my mental health. He has a really good paying job and always said he was happy to support me. I've even talked about getting a job in my field again if that would make him happy, and he assured me I don't need to. Cool. But now it just feels like because his money is what buys mostly everything, that I'm some mooch just living off of him. Mind you, I'm pregnant with our first kid due very soon. This was all discussed extensively that I was to be a Sam. So why does he feel the need to hurt me like that? Does he secretly wish I was working and bringing home more money? Does he think I'm pathetic? It makes me feel like I'm a fucking roommate who hasn't paid rent and he's doing me a favor. And another thing that confuses me is if my parents, relatives ever want to give us anything, like a wedding or a baby shower gift, he gets annoyed because he wants to be the one to buy that stuff for us and doesn't want to rely on other people. Edit. To answer, address some common questions. 1. There was no prenup and no mention of wanting to keep assets split after marriage. We have a joint bank account and I also maintain my old accounts under just my name. 2. Some people suggested he just wants to feel appreciated. I know that's not the case because 1. He explicitly hates being thanked. He says it makes him feel like he's doing it just for the praise, and that makes him feel shitty. 2. I find ways of showing my appreciation by cooking, cleaning, managing everything in the home, taking care of him, etc. 3. I don't want to portray him as some controlling asshole who doesn't let me do things. It's tough to paint an accurate picture since I don't want to give out my entire relationship story on Reddit. I have freedom to do whatever I want, and he is supportive. It's just little things like this that make me question his deeper feelings, even though anytime it comes up, he reassures me he is happy to support me and doesn't think I'm any less than he is. 4. I want to be a Sam. I don't want to put my child in daycare. He and I both feel that way. The possibility of remote work is still there too if I feel I can balance both. But I think the deeper issue lies in our communication, and that's on me too. 5. After taking into consideration the comments and different perspectives here, I'm going to address him tomorrow. Today was bad because he worked late and was exhausted, and try to be as open about how I feel as I can. I'll update here when I do. Thanks to everyone who felt the need to help. I do feel very validated in my concern at the very least. Additional info. Comment 1. I have my own personal bank and credit card accounts that are separate from his. That's where my freelance income goes. He doesn't put money into it, but I have cards to his bank that I use for all the house, living-related expenses. Yes, I am covered under his life insurance if that's what you're asking. I've never gotten the explicit notion he didn't want me to be financially taken care of. I think it's an ego thing or something. Comment 2. I show my appreciation as much as possible. I clean and cook, etc. I love taking care of him in the house. I tell him how proud I am of his achievements at work, and I listen to him talk about work whenever he needs to vent. I've never gotten the impression he doesn't feel appreciated. Maybe it's a power, ego thing. I need to get my thoughts in order before talking to him and not let my hormones turn this into a crying session because lately, that's what happens when I try to speak up for myself. Update. Thanks to everyone who commented, I was honestly shocked that it got so much attention and that so many people felt compelled to help. I ended up talking to him a few nights ago, after I got all my thoughts down on paper and felt emotionally ready to talk about it. I said, when you point out that it's your house or that you paid for this and that, it makes me feel like I'm an unwanted guest in your house. I've told you how this makes me feel, but you still do it, which makes me feel like this isn't just a joke, like you claim. I want to feel like an equal partner in our relationship, especially since we will be bringing our child into the world so soon. When we were engaged, we were both so excited to go house hunting together and make it our home. for us and our future kids. You told me you were more than happy to continue working so that I could stay home to take care of the house and kids and dogs. But lately, it feels like you resent me for it. Now that I'm bringing our child into the world, I want to make sure there's no hostility or resentment between us. And I want to hear your side because currently I just feel hurt and I'm worried this will keep building if I don't address it now. If me going back to work and contributing to the mortgage is what you want, despite what you said to me a year ago, then let's talk about it. So I read that to him, and he immediately said that he never meant anything by it, and it was stupid and immature of him, and that he'd work on it. He didn't realize it hurt me so much. After talking it through a little, he said he thinks it might stem from growing up poor and finally building a comfortable life for himself. He agreed it probably has to also be an ego thing, and maybe stems from the fact that his dad couldn't take care of their family and his mom had to work 3 jobs. He said he wants me to feel like an equal partner and wants me to feel at home in our house. I also asked about putting my name on the deed, and he said he would. I do think he means what he says, but I also need him to prove it with his actions/words for me to truly feel comfortable. But we're moving in the right direction, and I'm glad I was able to express that to him. Thanks again for all the advice. Update 2. I'm shaking and crying as I write this. I now understand all the red flag comments on my last posts. I didn't see it. I trusted him. I'm so fucking stupid. Here's what happened. He went on a work trip this week and promised we would sort the house deed stuff when he comes back. His apology sounded genuine, and I believed him as much as I could without the proof yet. Today I just had a weird feeling in my body. His texts about work have been really updatey, like constantly telling me what he's doing or where he's going. I didn't think anything of it until earlier when he said he was taking a nap and wouldn't be on his phone for a few hours. This is weird because the man despises naps, they fuck up his sleep, and he feels like shit after. So I checked his Google Play account from our home PC. His Google account is always logged in. He probably doesn't know I know this, but I can see what apps he has or recently had installed on his phone. Why this is important? When we were dating, he had a severe sexting addiction. We broke up because of it. I had suspicions and caught him. But we ended up getting back together after he swore up and down it had stopped and even gave me permission to look at his phone whenever I wanted. I eventually stopped checking because I trusted him. A few years have passed and we're obviously now married with a baby on the way, and I've trusted him. Our intimacy has basically died since I got pregnant, but I blamed that more on myself than him because I just don't feel in the mood or sexy. He never tried anything, so I didn't have to reject him. It was just like he felt it too, I guess. I thought that was normal. So anyways, I looked at his account and saw that he had all the apps he used to use for sexting installed and recently used on his phone. Snapchat, Telegram, WhatsApp, Instagram, Tumblr. But the worst one, the one that broke my heart seeing, is that he has Tinder installed. Does that mean his work trips he's actually fucking people? He's had a lot of work trips the past 2 months since he won't be able to travel for a while when baby arrives. I'm devastated and angry, and I feel so stupid that I was making excuses for him and trying to paint him in a better light when everyone was telling me to run. Now IDK what to do. I want to call him and tell him I know, but the only evidence I had is screenshots from the Google Play website showing they were installed and recently used. I want to get real evidence because I know he'll uninstall everything before he's back. Part of me wants to just leave and go to my parents' house 4 hours away with the pictures printed out for him to find when he gets back. But I don't think that will solve anything. Additional info. Comment. Well, actually, he has 3 devices under his Google Play Store account: phone, tablet, and Chromebook. Most of the apps had been last used on Sunday on his tablet, the day before he left. Tablet is here, confirmed it's uninstalled now. Some of them are also showing last used recently on his Chromebook, so it's definitely no accidental download, especially considering it's like 6 or 7 apps that he has only ever used to hide sexting from me. He doesn't do social media otherwise. Update 3. So I ended up taking advice from some of the comments telling me to go to my parents' house. My mom recently retired, so he bought my story that she wanted to celebrate with me and treat me to a spa day, plus spend time with me before the baby gets here. I just didn't trust myself not to break down or to keep my cool when he got home. I had way too much to think about and figure out. Part of me was still wanting to defend him, I guess, because I didn't tell my mom why I came to see them until yesterday when I ended up telling her everything. We're meeting with a lawyer tomorrow morning to discuss my options. I'm no longer worried about getting my name on the deed, as I just want to be done with him. All I care about now is the safety of my child and trying to make the best decisions going forward. I want to be clear. I don't care about his money. I don't want to take as much as I can from him like some people have been saying. Fuck that. I can make decent money once I start working again, and I find myself incredibly lucky to have supportive parents who will let me stay with them until I get on my feet. As of now, he doesn't know anything. I've kept up my normal texts with him, keeping him updated on what I'm doing with my mom. As for getting checked for STDs, I will be getting that done in the next few days. The reason I'm not as worried about that is because we haven't had sex in months. He hasn't even tried. And I've had no symptoms. But I do know plenty of them have no symptoms, hence why I will be getting checked. I was also tested at the beginning of my pregnancy, plus I had more recent pregnancy-related blood work which included a mandatory HIV test. Luckily, all negative. Thank you again to everyone who helped me understand the severity of the problems in my marriage and that I need to leave him. I admit I was willfully blind to a lot of red flags, but knowing he's cheating on me again has made me painfully aware. I'm currently just trying to get through each day, and will decide what else needs to be done after speaking with the lawyer. Okay, next story. I, 29F, told my husband, 27M, I might not want to sleep with him if he gets a tattoo. Tonight, my husband told me that he is thinking about getting a fairly large tattoo to cover part of his arm that he's self-conscious about. I hate tattoos. They are a major turnoff to me. I was silent for a bit, trying to process, then eventually said, "It's your body and I won't stop you." He pressed me further, saying he wanted to know what I thought. I said I liked his body exactly the way it is, and if he got a tattoo, I would find him less attractive. He said I didn't have to make up mine just now because he was thinking about doing it in a few years or so. I said okay. I was pretty down because all I could think about was him getting this tattoo and knowing I have no right to stop him, but also knowing how much it will bother me. He realized my mood was off, so he asked me if I was upset about the tattoo. I said yes. He told me that he doesn't understand why it's ruining my night because it's something he might do in the future, not something he's going to do now. I said I knew that, but if he decides he want to go ahead and get it, I'll have no right to stop him. And what if I no longer find him attractive to the point where it ruins our sex life? It's not something he can get rid of. He said saying that was mean and uncalled for. I said it's a legitimate concern of mine and he wanted to know what was bothering me. Now he's really upset and I'm upset and we're both miserable. How do I fix this? Edited to add, I was assaulted by someone who had a tattoo in the same place my husband wants one. Ever since the assault, tattoos give me an uncomfortable feeling. That's why I'm worried I won't be attracted to him anymore, not because he doesn't look exactly how he did when we first got together, or because I think tattoos themselves are ugly. I don't want to tell my husband about the assault, which is why I left it out of the original post. Update. I told my husband everything. The assault, why I'm worried about the tattoo, everything. I had an anxiety attack during it, but managed to make it through. We agreed that if he still wants a tattoo, he'll try a temporary one first to see if it's a trigger. If it is, he just won't get one. Simple as that. The way he put it was, covering my insecurity isn't more important than you feeling safe. I am ultimately glad I told him because I didn't like hiding something from him, and his reaction to all of it was better than I had even hoped. But telling him when I spent years not telling anyone has reopened a lot of old wounds and has made it feel more real. So to everyone who acted like there is some right way to handle the after effects of being the victim of a violent crime, seriously, stop. I did therapy. It helped with some things, not others. It's not like therapy is a magic wand that suddenly makes everything that happened to you okay. I still have triggers. I could be in therapy for another decade and possibly still have those triggers. That doesn't make me a bad person or a person somehow undeserving of my husband's love. I came to this sub looking for advice and was met with shaming. None of you know how much I cried over your comments, thinking that I was a crazy, manipulative wife, worrying that my husband would leave me over something I already knew was a mistake. I will never come here for advice again, and I hope you all show your spouses a hell of a lot more empathy than you showed me. Conversely, to everyone who tried to help and understand, thank you. And especially thank you to people who reached out in private messages, offering support and sharing your own personal stories. Relevant comments. Commenter. The comments that I saw on that post, which were remotely negative, mostly were posted before you made your edit and revealed the sexual assault situation. I do have a lot of sympathy for you, and I don't think you're horrible. But your wording in this post is absurd. You asked for advice, and people disagreed with you, telling your husband you wouldn't have sex with him if he got a tattoo. They found that to be unreasonable. That is what advice forums are about. Did you expect wholehearted support and agreement? Answer. First, I asked, how do I fix this? Not how do I convince him he shouldn't get a tattoo. Even before I disclosed the essay, a response of, apologize to him because you're in the wrong, would have been far more helpful than, your husband should buy a fleshlight, and, we'll see you in the divorce forum soon. I never said I was right. In fact, I thought I messed up. People didn't bother to consider that before assuming I was trying to control him. Second, even after I disclosed the essay, people called me controlling, shallow, and ridiculous. People downvoted pretty much all of my comments, including the comment about why I struggled to tell him. People also told me I had plenty of time to tell him and messed up by not telling him. That's not advice. That's kicking someone when they're down, and it was uncalled for. Commenter. I came to this sub looking for advice and was met with shaming. Because you left the assault out of your original post, didn't you? Correct me if I'm wrong. I think you added that as an edit and a response to a later comment. Without the assault, your post did come across as controlling or manipulative. Knowing about the assault and the related trigger over tattoos was critical to understand where you were coming from. As a result, the advice you ultimately got was, you have to tell him about the assault because, without that information, he's going to think that you're just trying to be controlling and manipulative over what he wants to do with his own body. And you took that advice, and you told him about the assault. And what happened? Everything suddenly made sense to him, and now you're both on the same page about the tattoo. The issue is resolved, and your bond with your husband has been strengthened. So, why you mad, bro? Answer. I'm mad because any implication that an SA survivor owes their significant other a disclosure of the SA is harmful, that I should have told him about this a long time ago. SA survivors should be able to disclose in their own time, even if that means never. Saying otherwise is harmful to victims. It's also harmful to imply that if you still have triggers, you must just need more therapy. If my husband gets a temporary tattoo, and that triggers me, it doesn't make me defective or mean that I just need more therapy. That is what I take issue with. Commenter. True, but your SA is, was, or going to affect things in your marriage, and in that case, your spouse deserves transparency. You did the right thing, and his response is exactly what I would hope for with that kind of news. He seems like a good person. Answer? Absolutely, which is why I told him. But there were comments about how I should have told him long before this. That is a harmful statement for survivors. That there is a right way to navigate the aftermath of an assault. There's not. It was affecting my marriage, so I had to tell him. But up until this, it hadn't. I was under no obligation to tell him then, and no one should make me feel like I was. Commenter. You left out important details and people provided advice based on what you gave them. Your wording really was terrible, and the fact that you are attacking others for your mistake is telling. You don't have to announce your departure. Hope you do better. Answer. I'm not just announcing my departure, I'm telling you all that I hope in the future you do better when talking to SA victims, because a lot of the comments and implications were actively harmful to me, but also potentially other survivors reading. How do you like this story? Write your opinion in the comments. Let's get 1,000 subscribers on this channel. Love you.